All right. Oh, wait. Is the timer... Okay, cool. Sorry. The live timer was stuck on the 0-second mark, and I was like, uh-oh. Is it like, do I have to reset it? But nope. So I was just going to record this unlisted. I just got done doing some readings, and I just wanted to go live, and I decided to go public live if anyone wanted to, like, pop in and say hi. But really, this is a vlog about this new channel that I discovered. So, and now I decided to put away my cards while talking too, because I was like, may as well, because I have to make space for the next reading and whatnot anyways. But, so this channel I discovered is Ediya SMR, Ediy ASMR, sorry. I'll just copy and paste. Hi, Margaret. Exactly. You're exactly why I decided to go public live. Or anyone else who would want to stop by. But yeah, I was gonna just do this unlisted, but decided to go public in case like anybody wanted to stop in and say hello. But yeah, if you see that name that I just put in the chat, I just discovered her channel. Oh, Margaret, you would love her channel. So here, let me give the exact link to the reading that I'm watching. Whoa, cats purring ASMR. Maybe stick to that because that sounds really peaceful. But also, like, yeah, check out that video if you ever feel like it. Her energy, she's so vibing. Like, I really like her views. But okay, before I forget, so the reason I wanted to vlog about it was I wanted to capture this feeling so that I could remember and look back on it. Oh, what? It led you to my channel? Oh, wait. Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. What was it? Okay, so yeah, which is that, like, I heard this part and I was like, you got me. And I'll just rewind. So.
But there's so much conditioning today. The devil is trying to point us to
try and find it.
Saving to freely open. That's probably why we have certain relationships.
Okay, yeah.
More positive. You really exposed yourself to.
So she like gets to this point in this reading, and she's like, maybe throughout life you never exposed yourself to positive modeling of relationships and communication.
Positive modeling of relationships and communication. So you may want to look.
So you may want to look into that. And I'm like, I just love how chill she is, and like, yeah. Oh, and I see. But anyways, I was like, you got me. Like, that was mind-blowing for me because I'm like, I'm looking back, I'm like, who were my role models? Other than me and like One Piece and other anime characters. Which those were my best role models, honestly. The ones that really called out to me that I like really felt so much love and acceptance from. I was like, those are my role models. And in real life, I didn't really have that many of those, and I didn't pretty much always. God, what was the exact term? I just love the way she put it. Yeah, exposure. So it's like true. I literally, like, in other words, I was only exposed to, but at the same time, it's the same thing. Like, I really did only expose myself to, like, toxic forms of communication in relationships, because I would always run into people where I'm like, I really get into it with them, really take them seriously. And I'm like, why don't you get this? And like, how, like, I don't know. I was always kind of like the more mature one, you could say. And that's the same thing as saying, like, I was exposing myself to, like, I don't know, not very positive forms of communication in relationships. I don't know. It's just really, really mind blowing to me. So I wanted to go live and share that. Yes, with the channel, to talk about this channel that I discovered, but also like for myself, so I remember this thought later. Yeah, just very, very cool. Oh, but the final thing that I was supposed to like remember with it is like like a thought that I had with all of that when I was like, you got me, was also like, at the same time, I picked the best ones I could find was my like thought. And then I thought that was funny. But I also thought like, this is important for me to remember later. So I'm recording it. But yeah, if anyone watches this, like, can you relate is my question. Like, do you relate to that? Like it makes sense that when the people you've had to deal with have not been the most mature or understanding, that you're therefore exposing yourself more and more to more harmful or like, I don't know, whatever forms of like communication relationships and things like that. Because I'm always like, why do these people not communicate like maturely and with the same like love and mutual respect that I have? But like this very reading that I was watching, like, put it into words like so poetically and like in such a validating way that like really helps me kind of like enjoy seeing that perspective of how I maybe was exposing myself to these kinds of connections. Just hearing it from someone so loving and peaceful, it just made it really easier for me, because I'm like, yeah, if I had that higher vibrational energy, that unconditional love and support, those kinds of people in my life, they would be good communicators and they'd be good relationships for me. So I don't know, it's just very, very validating. Definitely time thinking, is it me, right? As a person, or my inability to let go that it is other people and they're unwilling? Yeah. That it's their unwillingness to feel, grow, and understand. Yep. I just found out this whole time, I just assumed that things went poorly for basically no reason. But just earlier in the night, I found out that like there was like a reason, but it's like a misunderstanding. Yeah. It's reminding me of the musical. Well, it's a movie, but if any of you watched La La Land, it's reminding me of that movie where like, forget which of the two main characters, but they overhear the other character on the phone and they get all the worst parts of the conversation, but the actual whole conversation was like standing up for that person. Um, it wasn't exactly like that in my situation, but it was that kind of like misunderstanding analogy, and it's just like so frustrating that even from just that tiny misunderstanding that's like huge, but like just from that one misunderstanding alone, like no steps, no communication, not even verifying or confronting me to make sure it was true or false in the moment. I swear, like, hi, Johan. Yee. Hold on, what was that? So, yeah, the like, no confrontational skills, like, at all. Just completely booked it and everything. Aw, hi, Evelyn. I'm happy to hear that. Oh, keep doing what I'm doing. Stay me. Thank you, Evelyn. That actually means a lot to me. I'm really glad it helped you. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for these changes in my life to where I no longer at this place. I'm doing better. Yeah. Happier in silence with myself. I was a child. Others causes stress for me, not caring that they do that. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm experiencing with this situation. But yeah, it's. Do you guys want to hear some news? You want to hear my announcement? I might have told you already through like messages, but yeah. Self-esteem has its high highs and low lows. Always kind of on edge as society and people near to me that interact with me and are not aware or compassionate at all. Anyways, making some vegan teriyaki, not chicken. That sounds so good. Oh yeah. Earlier, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been uploading the zodiac signs. So, yeah. Hopefully, I'll have all 12 zodiac signs reading for the month of April. Woo. I'm glad you followed up. So, the announcement, and I honestly do think I told you already, like through DMs, but the announcement is that I'm moving, like now. I have to pack everything. Like literally the only step now, other than all the steps that I'm gonna have to like somehow get through to make sure that everyone wins, including myself. Anyways, aside from that, the only thing I have to do right now is pack. So I'm trying to do both at the same time. I'm trying to get packing done, and I'm trying to really put myself out there, get these readings done, and I don't know. I want to do live paid readings, but it takes a really big toll on me, like physically, like my throat and everything too, my energy. So I'm trying to do more like private readings. But yeah, you're moving too? Wow. Packing up. You have to be out by May. Whoa. That sounds so scary. It's scary not knowing what you're going to do next, but knowing you only have until a time frame to have an answer. or to have it figured out. But sure enough, it's there. So yeah, I'm so ready for it. This place is so not the vibe. It's so not the vibe. My sibling got a bunch of mason jars recently, so I might put this into a few jars and then like shake them up, and it'll make it easier, because in here I can't shuffle these at all, and when I try to shuffle them by hand, it's like cards will fall out. So yeah. Oh, how are you moving? Did you get a job or something? Don't mean to offend you, just asking. I am not offended. Nope, I've been sticking true to exactly what I said, which is that I don't believe in the workforce. I don't believe in working myself to death and deteriorating my health. Um, and that doesn't mean that I believe everyone who is working any sort of job is doing that. I just, for my own personal body and my own needs, that's what it would do to me. But I am curious about, like, my sister found like this service that's like basically people who have any disabilities or whatnot, health issues, anything at all, or just sensitivities, all of the above, for people in need, pretty much, who are looking for income. They can they can work with the person and tell them like where they're at, what they can and cannot do, and that person will like hook them up with a job. And so I could, for example, be like, I can't do anything physically taxing. I can't commit like set hours to things. It just needs to be something that feels like volunteer in a sense, free flow. And if it is like that, I can probably really follow through whenever I need to, and will give like a solid effort. Like, I'll also describe who I am as a person, that I put my all into something when I do try and do the thing. And that like I work at home, like travel and like literally just like moving to places. Like I'm gonna need a long time of financial recovery for something like that to be a thing. And at that point, I'm pretty sure once my health is like better, I'm just manifesting healing, that my health is gonna improve. That I'd probably just have the energy to do all my projects that are really good ideas, like making video games, starting up like yoga classes, things like that. Even like pole dancing and like being an instructor in some way. Maybe being like teach a class about like free flow movement or whatever. I don't know. I just have a lot of projects and ideas that I could probably just do if I was physically well enough to do it, which also includes mentally and emotionally. Like, they're all connected. So I basically am going to like possibly do that. But anyways, how I'm moving is a long story, and I'll probably get into that in another vlog video. But pretty much I made a plan for the end of this year to move, and other people intervened in a harsh and abrupt way, they were very unsupportive throughout all of it. And then in the last second, they were like, oh, I'll support you. And as great as that is, again, caused a lot of unnecessary stress then, if you're really just going to think about it. And yeah, pretty odd, because I don't know. So basically, other people are intervening and helping pay expenses that I can't pay. Yeah, since where I'm moving is like family home. So basically I'm moving into another home that like I get to like just know is like a home. It's not necessarily like inheritance because it's like my sibling's house, but like I don't know. I got connections. Yeah, luckily. Blessfully, I don't know. But yeah, at the same time, I'm still needing to scrape together whatever I can in the meantime, because if we go there now, we won't have internet. Because I'm the one who's going to be paying for certain expenses. Like, yeah. The mortgage is basically being covered, but not the utilities or any other expenses. It's a very odd situation, but it's better than nothing. But also, no, it's not, because nothing was not intervening and letting me move at the end of this year. But the people involved threw a fit, literally. And then I'll tell the story. Pretty much, those of you who know, I live with my biological parents, and it's a very, like, what society says type of a house in a way. Like, wife doesn't work, husband does the work. Like, it's a really weird situation. But anyways, like, I pretty much brought up the move last year to my dad simply because I found out through a sibling that he actually missed having a relationship with me, because I cut him out of my life before that for the last like 2 years. And he didn't like that, and he confessed that to his sibling, and that sibling actually told me. And I was like, do you want to try again? And then my dad was like, I guess, like, who cares? Like, yeah, I want you in my life, so what? And I'm like, just say that then. Hi, Liv. And anyways, he's very, very unsupportive. And then, like, pretty much just kept telling me I'm on my own. And I'm like, okay, but then I won't be able to move out till the end of next year. And he was like, that's your problem. You have until December of this year. And I'm like, okay, but I'm explaining to you. I've delivered to you the plans. Here they are. But I'm telling you, like, we can't even do those plans until minimum sometime next year. Because pretty much what the plans were was that we're going to move into, my sister's house when she moves. And he's like, you got to move out by December. I'm like, she's not even moving until later next year. Like, that's not even possible. Like, the place that I'm going to, it didn't make sense. And he was really, really harsh. And then he started throwing in more consequences at the household. And it got to the point where he was like, I'm going to disable the internet if, like, that person's still at this house. And I'm like, okay. And then I basically listened, and they pretty much wanted me and my relationship broken up. They could say that's not what they were wanting. They just wanted us in separate houses. But it's like, that's what you do. When you hate on love and you split love up, you're literally now a force against love, against the relationship. That's what it really means. It doesn't matter what your exact situation is. It's kind of what it is, type of a thing. So anyways, eventually I was like, okay, like, I drove him home. I was like, okay, we won't be in the same roof then, like, type of a thing. I gave in. Days later, like, his wife still, like, was paranoid about us and didn't like that we were probably talking about her, even though we're not in the same house. And it basically, she like disabled the car. And then she was like planning on like slashing the tires of the car. And his car is the thing. So that's when he was like, wait, what? And they were yelling, and he was like, I don't understand. Like, he's not here anymore. Like, they listened to us and did the thing. What are you upset about? And yeah, I don't even know. But basically, she didn't like that we were probably talking about her and like judging her life or something. But we never talked to her, so I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, I guess fair, because I'm just like, yeah, you've been my abuser my whole life. But like, yeah, like nothing, we weren't like conspiring against her or anything. We simply gave in to the really stupid demands of splitting me and my partner up. And that was it. And then I hated it, but I did it. And I was like, okay. And I still didn't bother them. I was like, fine, just don't shut off my internet. I need that to do readings and to like, save money and to make money. Like, I don't understand. And like, why let your own car? So anyways, once it became clear that she was gonna like really damage his property. Hi, Starbright. Is it Steph? But once he realized that we had been warning him, I was like, you do realize even if I give in to your demands, she's still gonna like do the things. Like, he kept demanding that we gave his extra like the other set of car keys back. Like, he has 2 sets of keys for the car, so it's not like it's like we would always leave it on the mantle downstairs. But growing up, whenever she threw a fit, she would like hide the keys. She didn't like something, or even if we didn't do anything at all, she would hide them. She'd be like, oh, I don't know where they went. Sorry. And it's like, she'll like put on a pout, but it's like she like straight up hid them. It's like, but when you need that to like go to emergencies or like go get literally food because everyone needs to eat, stuff like that. Yeah, basically I started holding on to the car keys as of like 2020, 2021. And there was this whole like war about that. And I kept explaining to both of them, like, you have the other car keys. You only want this one for control and power to get to decide if because they're like, I don't get it. Like, why, if you just want to drive the car, why not just leave it on the mantle? It's like, you guys literally use it as like some ploy for power and control, that if we do something, or if you're simply in a bad mood, you'll like take away the keys to the car that you don't drive. Like, it never made sense. So I was like, I'm gonna hold on to the car keys, not because I'm like keeping the car from you guys, because they have another key, but because I'm protecting energy so that I have my reliable transportation that they had no problem with me having for the most part. It just, I don't know. So anyways, once this all happened, and I was like, do you see how your wife has been unstable for the last 2.5 decades now? He was like, I mean, if you just left the car keys on the mantle, none of this would have ever happened. That's what he told me. And I explained to him, I was like, this is exactly why I took the car keys, though, because this is what happens. Like, my whole life, she's the role that my mom had played. These were the actions that she would take, no matter how perfect things were or whatever we did or didn't do. So I was like, no, we prolonged this by having access to the keys and keeping the access. So he eventually was like, I get it. And now he understands why we keep the key, but he's still really weird about it. And that was when he was like, I'll support you. Like, when are you moving? I'm like, August at soonest. He's like, what if I help? Could you move, say, tomorrow? It's pretty much what he was asking. And I was like, no. Like, your other kid, my sister, she has her own plans of moving, and we were syncing up with each other. So we moved it to the end of the year. And he got involved, reached out to her, convinced her to like go find a place right away. And without even deciding how much he was going to support. And then once it came in, his decision was that he wasn't going to pay the whole rent. And as much as that's like, oh, it's my responsibility, my sister was upset. She was like, wait, what? You told me to go find this place. And I'm sorry, but like, I need a guarantee that my mortgage is being paid. Like, this is why we were waiting. Like, so my dad was like, in fact, I talked to my dad at that point and I explained to him, I was like, okay, fine. Pretty much the rent is like $1,500 and he was willing to give $1,200 a month for 9 months instead of just paying the full rent. So I like just put into a calculator, $1,200 a month times 9 months is $10,800. Then was it $1,200 a month? Maybe it was $1,000 a month for 9 months. And then we have to find the other $500 for rent, as well as our utilities and our other bills and gas. When explained to him, like, again, we weren't planning to even start moving until somewhere past August. So why did you reach out to her and make these promises and then like this is what you're willing to do? And so I asked him, I was like, what if you just did the whole rent for 6 months, which is also $9,000? And he was like, okay. He didn't fight me on it at all. He was just like, yeah, that makes sense. A couple days later, this is weeks later when he's finally said like, okay, your partner can visit, but he can't live here. So he was visiting and like it was like a few days on, few days off. Like we did that. He would come over for a few days and I'd have to drive him home and waste a bunch of gas because he lives kind of far. And one day we were sleeping and I left my door unlocked. My dad just opened it and just started yelling at me. It was like, we had a deal. You said you drove him home. And he has cameras around the house. So I was like, check the cameras. Like, here are the dates. And he was like, oh, okay. No apology. He just stopped screaming at me and went back to his room. I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't you say that? I was like, what the? Why? Like, you don't even care. Like, you didn't even know whether or not he's here, and you don't even bother to check your own cameras. So why do you even? It didn't make sense. And he was like ready to take everything back. And I was like, these were your own plans. So that's what the situation is. It's like my dad is paying the rent, I guess, for 6 months. Nothing more, I guess. And And in 6 months, it'll be like the start of August when we were supposed to be saving the whole time to pay for the first month in August. You see how this is like not going to make sense when we make it to August now? It's like he interfered with my actual solid planning skills. And then if and when it goes south, everyone can be like, son, you're so irresponsible, so spoiled. We gave you this place for 6 months and you can't pay now. It's like, yo, I made the smart choice of staying at home to save during this time. Then it got pushed to go do this. And there's going to be all these expenses that would have been put into my savings instead. I don't know, but it's not going to make sense to him in 6 months unless if he changes. So we'll see. But also, I believe in myself and I'm moving with a few loved ones. And yeah, so we're going to really be getting through it. You told your dad the same thing about your mom. Mood. It's pretty clear I need to get out of there then. Exactly. Like, even though my sister we were talking about, like, kind of worried about how this might play out. We met up today and she was just like, yeah, I'm like getting less worried now. I'm just like, yeah, just the difference in quality of life from there versus here, like, that shift alone is like that everyone's gonna like get through it, so to speak. So yeah, that's the whole moving thing. And I just did a reading earlier about how people can like judge me. If any of you know, the first time I moved out from my dad's support, which was so much worse of an idea than right now, it's like in a random apartment by myself with no furniture, with no food. And again, I was paying the utilities, the internet, the gas. And then like I think I got food stamps around that time. Like after a month of being there, I got food stamps. Yeah, that was really, really rough. And I was all alone. This time I'm with a group with some loved ones. I'm moving to a home I lived in before. It's an actual house. We're moving with furniture, with plenty of food stamps, like people who are really good at getting things and bringing them into the home. Like my sibling that I'll be moving with and their bestie. They're very proactive and they bring a lot into the household just like casually. Like, so yeah. Oops. Helper review. What? How do I? Damn, I think one of your messages got blurred out, but I like the message. Yes, Usnavi is going. But yeah, Johan said, son, I'm sorry to say this, but sounds to me like your dad is a huge dick. He absolutely, yeah. Just this family situation is that. Like, just people. And, like, they think I'm the harsh one for accurately describing the way they've treated me. Or the way I've received their energy. That's my decision to make on how I feel. Or not even really decision, it's just how I feel. Since when did you have cameras? Well, first start with like some outdoor cameras, and then like somewhere in the middle of last year, he just like set them all up in the house. Didn't know if I was supposed to mod that comment. Not trying to say. Yeah, it's okay, Margaret. How's your night going, Steph? I love The Magus's Bride. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know, Magus. The Magus's Bride. That anime is so good. Thank you for recommending it to me. But yeah, Usnavi's going with me. Yeah, my parents are like the spawn of evil. Like, wow. And they know it. I confronted them about it in 2020. And they were like, yeah, so we like being this way. I was like, whew, weird flex, but okay. Yes. Of course he did. Oh, the first theme song, though, is so much better than the second theme song. That's my opinion. I loved that first theme. When it changed, I was like, what? I don't care how good the second one could have been. I really love that first one. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Slot cameras. I hope it isn't because he can't trust you. It's exactly that. He started getting really paranoid, thinking that we were gonna like go into his room at night and like pretty much attack him. And I was like, none of us, we're all vegan. What are you? I was like, we're all pacifist vegans. Like, why is that your fear? And it's because his wife has been saying that his whole life. Like, literally, when I was an infant toddler, she had been saying that she always had to have a knife under her pillow, thinking that her 3-year-old baby was going to like come in the room and kill her and him. And she would tell these things to my dad our whole lives. So I'm like, yeah, I get why you think that, but like, reality check. You've known us for about 25 years now. you've known me for 25 years now, like. And then he like, I'm like, I've been a pacifist. He's like, well, and then he brought up this one time when I was like 8, and I threw a plastic flimsy water bottle across the room at someone in a fight who was definitely much more immature than me as a person. Like, they had bullied certain groups of types of people, homophobic language, for example, just kids like not knowing shit, you know? So he wasn't very mature. And he brought up that time explaining how he knew I was violent. And I was like, funny you, hi Chiwe. I was like, funny you bring that up because right after you saw that happen, and then he insisted that it hit this kid, which when I asked him if he even remembers that one time in elementary school for me, when I couldn't move my leg or both of my legs, I don't remember, but I like couldn't move. And I was like on a bunk bed in the farthest room in the house, this room actually. And I woke up and couldn't move my legs or one of them or something. And I remember going like, Dad. And he had to like carry me from the bunk bed and like carry me down to the couch downstairs. Like, and eventually like I got sensations back and it was really scary. Anyways, he can't remember that story. He doesn't remember that. I would ask him like, do you remember this? He was like, no, sorry. I'm like, what do you remember? Apparently, he remembers the one moment in history that shows that his kid was violent. To validate his paranoia that his pacifist vegan children are coming after him. That his wife talks about since we were all infants. And when you watch like baby videos of us, you're like, where did you get that? You're like, they're literally just children. Like, I don't understand. And I genuinely believed her growing up that I was evil, that I was threatening her when I was a baby. How? Like, it didn't make sense. It really didn't make sense. And it still doesn't. And it's really sad that here we are decades later, my parents are so damaged as beings that they're just repeating toxic shit that they know is wrong. Well, they might not even remember that. It's just really sad, honestly, but also I hate it, and I like builds up resentment for sure, and it's definitely the reason why I never want to see them again. That baby can threaten someone, right? It's like it makes no sense. Yeah, I definitely. But yeah, I like lost track of where I was at. Something about my dad. Oh yeah, the irony. So the irony of that story he told me right after that happened, what he then failed to mention, which I did not. I was like, "Do you remember what happened next?" And he was there, and because he witnessed it and he got angry at me, and he got so mad. He grabbed my ear and he forcefully pulled me up, like out from the kitchen, up the stairs, and then pushed me into my room and slammed the door. I was like, now that's violent. I was like, you literally reacted to your version of violence with violence. Yeah, I'd say it was like an outburst that I had. That kid, I don't know. Kids can really get to you and they try to see how far they can push you. And I'm someone who's easily pushed. Like, I don't take BS, but kids always thought I would because I come off so sweet when they meet me most of the time. But I have a feisty side. The old ear grabbing. Done a few times, but out of love. If it was kind of like a cute scene or whatever, then sure. But yeah, no, he's just like, was not cute, wasn't the aesthetic, was not the vibe. It was just terrible. not a way to react to a child who I did that out of pure frustration. Like, I was really, really upset. In fact, my parents were around a lot of times when I got into real conflict with like my like friends at the time or whatever. Most of the time they either don't do anything or they like go immediately to defend the other kid. Like that example, it's just, yeah, typical parent stuff. But yeah. So that's why the cameras are installed, I guess. Also, aside from that, my dad has always been really obsessed with cameras. He's always worried, and like stuff has happened in his life. So, but his cameras are always really terrible quality. They never capture anything, and anytime I actually needed them, like something kind of important happened once in the hallway, and I asked him for footage because something happened, and I wanted to have real evidence that I wasn't like making it up. And then he was like, "Oh, sorry, I shut off the camera that day to save on battery." I was like, "What are these even for?" And he's like, "Also, wouldn't do much good for you anyways. I've checked the camera quality. It's actually really bad." I'm like, "Why did you get this then?" So yeah, the cameras don't even work. So yeah, I don't get it. Let me catch back up on the. And I definitely wanted to make sure that I read your sentence fully, that you're good, dancing around your apartment and music all night. I was actually thinking about that. I think in this video at the beginning, I was talking about, I think with Johan, that I wanted, one of my passions or like ideas is being like a dance instructor or like a movement therapy teacher, like teach a class about it. My sister teaches pole dancing. So I was like, I might do that. But I'm like, well, I do love pole dancing. Like, I think I've always been really good at like, if you ever know like the bars at like gym class and like being able to like twirl around and like do gymnastics. It's really, really good at that stuff. Upper body strength and just like athletic stuff in general. That's how I was catching on that something is seriously wrong with my health. That like generally I'm a very athletic, fit person, but my body is always shutting down. What's going on? So yeah, it started becoming more obvious to me as I kept getting older that I wasn't making it up, that there's something going on with my body. And it's at a point where it's like not really something that like I'm gonna entrust to society or this broken healthcare system or to my parents who have been poisoning me actually my whole life. That's very like, ooh, that's heavy, but it is what it is. And I've stopped eating their food, and there's been so much more recovery. And there's still a lot that goes on because this place is literally toxic. I know they haven't cleared out these vents in forever or done any maintenance. And I've seen how mold builds up just in my room alone. So I'm like, there's absolutely like mold built up throughout like our air system, I'm sure. It's no wonder that when I leave the house and go to other places, that my body just like suddenly goes into recovery mode. This is definitely like TMI, but like a lot of times when I go to a friend's house, which is not very often, it's rare, I'll like go there and I'll feel so much better. And then I'll have to go to the bathroom, even if I hadn't drinking a lot of water that day, and I'll like have the longest pee of my life. Like I'll like literally detox and it'll go for like literally for like a long time. And that never happens here. And I'm like, wow. Like that place is this home, this environment is clearly toxic. And then I'd come back to it after hanging out for a few hours and I'd be like, oh god. So you can't really recover in a place that's literally toxic, I have an air purifier, but like, yeah, no, just moving out of this house is gonna make a big difference, I think. when you caused trouble, maybe when you were 4 or 5. Sometimes, but it was just a way to scold me. Yeah, I've had those too. Like my dad would sometimes chase me around with like a newspaper. He's most of the times wouldn't hit me with it. Well, actually he would, but I stopped being afraid of it. So he was like, there's no point. And he'd like stop hitting me with the newspaper because I'm no longer like afraid of how much it'll hurt. I'm like, you've done this before. Like, fine. And then for whatever reason that made him stop. But he would still sometimes chase me around with the newspaper. It was like a fun game. Yeah, pole dancing is fun. Don't have a pole right now though. Used to for fun and fitness. I hope you get one. Cause yeah, my sister's is really, really good. I think it's like you can literally like set it up in the room and then you can like unset it, put it away. I don't know. Like shrink the pole. There's a word. The opposite of set it up. Set it down. I don't know. Easy to configure and reconfigure. Yeah. Broken health system brought to you by heart inflammatory vaccines! ! That's a mood. I said mood. I don't know if the audio, but like I'm just like trying to be low key about my opinions because it's very controversial and I think there's no like right or wrong answer, and definitely will be very triggering for like people, just topics about all that. But like, yeah, and like you've heard me talk about that, and we've discussed back and forth about whether or not to like really make videos about it, and I just kind of decided like I want to stay out of it because everyone's got their own views, and I just don't believe in like a war. I don't believe in war. I believe in peace. And I think a good way for peace is like not needing to antagonize people viewing basically a bad situation in a different way. I don't think it's the one and only right way because life is just too expansive for that. But yeah, speaking from your experience though, yeah, you can absolutely speak on it too. Like, I remember you telling me the actual effects that you got afterwards, and they were not just like normal effects, or like I think you said that like they basically explained that it is normal, but what you were able to pay attention to that like notice like what was going on. Like I remember you describing like what it was, and that it was just like yeah. Too triggering, yeah. Immune system not so strong after taking 2 doses. Okay, mood. It's like, yeah, I'm glad you guys are coming out about your own experiences with it. Like, I think if other people can experience it just fine, then perhaps that can be a valid, like, path for people, but it shouldn't be forced. Nothing in life should be forced. That's the trick. Had acute pericarditis, inflamed on the outside of my heart. I still think it's like that sucks because around the time I was in my senior year in high school, I started getting that more, and it was really freaking me out. And I started thinking, oh, it's because I went down the wrong path in life. I'm making all these bad choices. I did get into smoking, and definitely I can see how smoking connected, which is why at that time I stopped. And I realized it didn't just cause it. It was an accumulation of things. And it was a telltale sign that so many other things are going on with your body that like your body will only signal to you is happening once it's quote unquote too late, But anyways, I've had acute pericarditis, which is like that stabbing feeling that can happen in your chest. You can also feel like it feels like heartburn, not just like there, but like in the pit of the stomach. You can feel like that in the intestines, perhaps. I mean, for me, it's because these were very connected, because I also had like ulcers, basically, uh, burning through the like lining of the stomach, basically. I have, yeah. It became more clear that I was having them around high school, and I thought it was because I went down the wrong path and got forced into smoking weed and addicted to it. Because like basically smoking weed wasn't my choice when I got into it. It was I was taken advantage of, basically, to doing it. I was in a very vulnerable spot, you could say. Mostly left chest pressure that comes and goes. Oh my gosh, I also hate that feeling. It's like literally painful. Yeah, Steph, mood, same. I'm just like, if they're not gonna like physically force me, I'm not gonna do it because my body, I'm not comfortable. For example, like I could go to the dentist. I should if I like want this like tooth to be straight again. Like I had braces and I like fixed everything, but it was so painful. I'd be honestly downplaying it if I pretended it wasn't extremely painful. I don't think they understand how much more pain I feel than other human beings. I'm more tolerant than other human beings. So they're like, whoa, he seems to be taking it even better than some other patients we've had. That's because of extremely high tolerance. I'm used to torture and pain. But yeah, it was so painful that when I got my retainer, which came in late, so by the time I got it, it didn't even fit. And I was just like, no, it's fine. Like, I just want out of this. Like, and like, yeah, over time it's been like moving back. So it's like, I should get dental care, but are we in a fair enough system that treated me properly and fair and like, and right or whatever? We're not. And so I do not want to do it. Um, And that's on like the more trustworthy end of things, and it's still sketchy. That they're not coming up with real treatment. They're coming up with prolonging the inevitable. They're coming up with like how to make things look good, how to make the symptoms go away. But like they're not providing any lessons on how to actually like consider the possibility that you could train your muscle memory and yourself on a molecular level to naturally rearrange how your teeth work so that they don't clash with each other and that they don't self-harm you, you know? Like having messed up teeth can be painful physically and things like that. Your jaw even, etc., etc. It's easy to notice how your inner organs react when you pay attention to your emotions. Yes, facts. I feel like the more emotionally aware and self-aware people are, the more we tend to actually know what's going on with our bodies. I mean, we're still like freaked out because we're like, I'm no doctor, but this feels painful. Um, but we're like actually paying attention and like can figure it out, hopefully. Somehow they are connected. They're so absolutely connected. Yeah, very true. In these times, we definitely aren't living in a fair climate. That is, yeah, precisely. So I always think it's so strange when people don't understand why I don't want to participate in any of the public stuff, news, trends, announcements, politics, all of it. Like, it's all corrupt in some way. So, like, if I really wanted to heal, shouldn't I just ignore that? And they're like, well, no, you should address it. But if I address it, people will disagree. They'll call you things. Yeah. look into orthotropics. I actually know that, where it's like I think through both movement and like mental training to train your teeth to reposition themselves properly and things like that. It's like training your teeth to act as like intelligent personal braces, right? Something like that. I remember it was like a type of treatment, but it also sounded like that you could do work, like simple things where like if you put pressure a certain way, you're like each day you're like pushing it in the right direction forward, like muscle memory, something like that, right? Because I've looked into there's two approaches to like the dental health care or something, and it was like this thing and then orthotropics, I'm pretty sure. They do that a lot. The tongue and skull changing. Doctors that treated me, though, don't know how I'd be dealing with my anxiety after the adverse reaction. Yes, I'm glad you had real medical care. I'm grateful as well. The 1 year that, like, basically due to a legal situation, healthcare was required to be free for me for a time, basically. But only until a certain point, and then it's done. But yeah, at that time I was getting acupuncture, I was getting massage therapy, chiropractor care. I was able to consider looking into the other ones, like a gastroenterologist or whatever, like things like that. But how much time I had with it wasn't enough to look into all of my health issues, just certain ones. Don't get too carried away, so. But anyways, yes, there's absolutely still such thing as like getting like solid health care, because like when you meet actual good doctors and stuff, they always remind you have a choice, and that like this is what they understand about life. This is what they know to be true. Like they won't force you, they'll just like advise you and then like get you set up for the appointments or whatever, if you so choose. They're all about consent if they're a good doctor and things like that. Yeah, so people having actual access to healthcare is, to me, one of the top priorities that this world should be having. Freedom also up there, since that's a part of freedom, of course. But yeah. Yeah, I've been doing orthotropics since February 2019. Noticed a huge difference. Whoa. Hasn't fixed your one crooked tooth on the bottom, but otherwise has corrected a lot. My mom uses an energy healing system called Body Talk. It's pretty neat and extremely transformative. The system was giggling the other day when I said, trust what the tarot cards say about the politics more than the news. Shh. Tarot cards kind of don't lie. I mean, like, people will be honest that they, like, this is what they're reading, and then, like, just kind of wait and see. It's like entertainment purposes. But yeah, I'm so glad that I got into tarot in, like, the beginning of 2018. The last 4 years has definitely been way more magical and blessed feeling than before. I've really come a long way. I'm really, really glad I met you all. The tongue on the roof of the mouth is what I do exercises. Yes. I remember, like, it was, like, kind of like some, like, really simple things to do that, like, if I just carved the time. So, yeah, I might get into that. May as well. Helped a lot because I had an X break. Whoa. So far, it's fixed your nose in a weird way where it looks like I got a job, but I didn't. That's so scary. Yeah, I've considered that about my pinky because I broke my pinky one time, or rather, someone broke my pinky one time, and it healed wrong, basically. And the doctor was like, "Oh, you healed it wrong." I'm like, "This what?" And they were like, "I could break it for you if you want to like fix it." I was like, "I'm good. That sounds awful." Well, not much of a choice nowadays. Sort of am happy, but it's also caused me a lot of confusion and pain. Yeah, with tarot, the whole twin flame dilemma came across my reading. Aw, yeah, it's tough. I still go through these like kind of breakdown moments about that whole connection. My last one was like, okay, I just like stood up for myself and was just like, you don't need to like reach a person to stand up for yourself. You can just know. But like I allowed myself to get upset. I allowed myself to be annoyed and to be right instead of thinking that this other connection is some like all-knowing person. Not that I actually think that about the person either. It's just that like they carry some sort of confidence with them where they're like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I'm like, you don't know anything of what you're talking about. It's like about me, and like you don't know me either. So what are you saying? But anyways, I had a really big moment with that, and I was like, finally, I'm like, I actually really just want to put this behind me, and I need to say, like, no, I wasn't wrong to do the things I did. I made so many apologies thinking that the things I did were wrong and hurtful and not okay. And sure, I do think in the grand scheme of boundaries as a concept, definitely was crossing boundaries. But honestly, when people don't have any communication with you and like no confrontational skills, etc., it is hard to know what boundaries even are with a person. And also, I feel like now boundaries is also an excuse for people who want to avoid taking accountability or putting in work to something that actually is reasonable and makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Boundaries are really interesting as a concept. I think they are definitely important, but I think a lot of other people's boundaries of their own get pushed down because they're like, oh, don't you think you're overstepping their boundaries? And it's like, okay, what about my boundaries? Like, I never overstepped for so long. I was so shy and timid as I was constantly being drained of my energy. And now that I'm ready to speak up, it's not okay. It's like really out of balance and really out of whack. So, yeah, those are some of my views about that side of things. Oh, glad we're all awake right now. Stressful and daunting lately. That's a mood. Want to share a quote? Gemini, disinterest is closure. That sounds like something a Gemini would say. I love Gemini, to be honest. I actually decided to try and reconnect with a certain connection who happens to be a Gemini. Don't know how they'll react, but we'll see. I wouldn't bet on it. I try to invest in myself and create a great life. Don't bother thinking of someone else. And that makes sense too. Yeah, that alone has helped me kind of deal with how none of my past life soulmates or twin flames or even current soulmates even think on a level of learning. Gemini, Moon, and Rising. Venus and Pisces. Should I remake Hinge this weekend? Cause yeah, Pisces is like love is always possible. No matter what loss you go through, you can love again. It's like very hopeful about that because love, yeah, Pisces loves love, pretty much. Some Pisces will say that they hate love. But like that makes sense too, but it's like they still do it, but like it's different, I guess, you know. I'm thinking of like Minnow Pond Tarot. He's so funny. I love his channel. I think he's got some pretty solid energy. Some things I resonate, some things I don't, but like that's the thing about people. We can have our differences and still appreciate one another. So it's like he's really, really cool. I mean, oh wait, it's not in the fridge. It's over here. I will honestly just say some basic limeade. It's delicious, but like homemade limeade is the real limeade, you know? And honestly, Margaret, same. Like, I'm trying not to move too fast and try to just like, I'm trying not to just meet new people again because I'm like still seeing where some of my connections are going. But it's like, it's so stagnant in both areas. And I don't know if it's like that's causing me anxiety and that means I should try to put myself out there more, or if it's like I should just give it time and focus on some really important things like the moving situation, you know? But honestly, I'm just focused on me. Of course, I'm thinking about the moving situation. Like, of course. How can I not? There's so much pressure that if this goes wrong, that I feel like I'm going to be the one who gets looked at and judged, or like the one who disappoints or lets my loved ones down. Oh, I love limeade. It's so good. I'm just going to, controversial, but limeade better than lemonade. Discuss. I'm serious. Limeade is so good. Like lemonade's good, but limeade is so good. You know? He has Aqua Pisces and Gemini in the same spots as you. Whoa. Whoa. That's actually really, really cool. Still on Bumble. He didn't reswipe me despite me saying on the phone. Also with Bumble, you can't really decide who shows up. You have to like scroll. And it's, yeah, I hate the apps. It's kind of like our only option though, really. I mean, like, there's chance meetings. But yeah. Like, that also includes a whole bunch of like, I already know myself. It's so hard to even start a conversation that goes past like a, how are you? See ya. Like, you know. Yeah, so. Says it's against his work rules to talk to you because we talked there first. But like, come on. People in history have had great love stories if they wanted to. Exactly. It's like, honestly, I think people are serious if they have their reasons. But at this point, I'm just like, excuses. Like, I had a guy who was like, oh, I like you. Oh, but like, commitment's not really my thing. And like, kind of somehow made it out to be my fault when he also explained that he's just not actually stable. He like joked when we first met. He's like, ha ha ha, I don't have commitment issues. Don't worry. Ha ha ha. Like, because he made a joke about like having commitment issues. And then he was like, I'm joking. I don't. And then like a week or two later, he was like, commitment's actually not my thing. And I was like, okay, that's what you said. You said the opposite when we met. Like, he was like, yeah, I thought I knew, but I didn't. This is awkward. It was just like, ew. But anyways, yeah. Then the whole twin flame situation, a lot of the times he would reach out and he was like, it's really because of work. I'm just so busy. And I'm like, is it that or is it not that? But then, like, every time we got a dress, he was like, no, these feelings are mutual. Every time I was like trying to give him a way out where I'm like, okay, like, it's just a one-sided connection, then, like, I should leave you alone. He's like, no, you weren't misreading anything. I'm like, what? So then he would like validate and explain that our feelings, like romantically, were the same pretty much. And I'm just like, why are you doing this then? Just makes no sense. But anyways, yeah, disinterest is closure. Minnow Pond has the same placements as you. That's really cool. Wish you could have that lime there. Yeah, it is so good. I wish you could too. If you can get some groceries at a grocery stores, get some limes, get whatever sweetener, probably just sugar, I suppose. I really want to try like different sugars that sound more organic to me, like coconut sugar, stuff like that. But yeah, basically get limes, sugar, water, and ice if you want, and then you've got yourself limeade. Yeah. Me too. Or hold on, let me scroll back up. Hinge was cooler, not a super paywall. Me too. Apps are boring. Many men just want to hook up or pretending they want something more. Oh my god. Okay, so I went on these 3 dates, right? Date number 3, it's like, oh, I just want someone. I just need to talk. I just need someone to talk to. And I believe that is true. Yes, and we talked. But once we got to his actual place, it was just the hookup is what he wanted. And I was like, this is not okay. I'm getting a message. I'm getting a message from Spirit. It's telling me check my phone. Whoa. Yeah, for sure. Dun. Made it before. Yes. Have the pen. I wanted to offer it earlier. Okay. So I'm probably going to go pretty soon just because my sibling's going to show up here and I think we're trying to figure out food. But I'm going to catch up on these messages. Hinge is less hookup, but still people will like talk to you fast there. Not many people use it, so you can go back on people and see them again. Because no one, yeah, that's like every app. You'll see so many of the same faces. Want something casual, nothing serious. Okay, it's 2022. Be serious though. I think we need to look at what our parents did. They just met and like 40 years later, they're still together. Times are just different. Social media is just effing it up. I mean, maybe, but my parents are miserable together. So it's like they were not good role models for me at all. So I can't say the same. These apps are how I've met all of my relationships now. Michael met through the relationship. That one really awful connection that I described where he was like, commitment's totally my thing. And 2 weeks later, met him through that app. Met, some people that kind of like, now I kind of just like, I'm like glad that that didn't go on longer. But I've met real people that I have a lot in common with at times through these apps. No, it's okay. I love hearing everyone's opinions, obviously including yours, Johan. I'm trying to say Johan instead of Johan because whenever I've watched a few of your videos, I think that's how you pronounce your name. So I'm gonna try. But yeah, let me know. Wonder how people meet in North Korea. Cough. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the outside world other than places that I've been to. Thailand, China, certain areas in China. Puerto Rico. Yeah. Just some places around the world that I've been to are the ones that I know stuff about. Yeah. You noticed what? Sorry. That's how you pronounce it. Johan. Okay. I use Bumble to meet friends. Yeah. I've met some real friends at times through like apps and stuff like that. And for those of you who want a little spark of hope, so as much as I'm going through this official breakup again, I was like, yeah, I really can't justify any of this. Like, I can't make sense of it. But I realized today that I think I understand what happened. And that gives me reason to be like, this is stupid then. We broke up from a misunderstanding. That sounds so tragic, but also like, yeah, it's sad, but I don't know. I'm kind of going both ways. Like, I could reason, but also, like, I really want something better for myself. Just like, especially since this all happened just from a misunderstanding. Like, probably. I don't even know. I have no confirmation because he's just sending it that, yep, this is what happened. But once I figured out what it is, I'm like, that never happened. I don't know what you're actually talking about. So, yeah, it just really sucks. A little spark of hope. Yeah. So, my love life is pretty interesting right now. But anyways, the point is I met someone new, you guys. He's very cute. He's a very nice person. He's a very good person. Um, we have like everything in common. We have a lot in common. We have everything in common so far. Obviously, with our own differences, of course. But yeah, very, very interesting. Um, and when it's on, like, I feel slightly more reassured, but like, I've been there with some connections where I'm like, is this just going to be chat and we actually never meet? Um, I feel like officially meeting is kind of like one of the hardest parts when you actually connect with someone on the apps. And then how it goes usually. But like, yeah, with everything we have in common, I'm like, it should go really well and hopefully really start things. But like, also, he might really just not be ready. So I've been kind of like accepting that. But like, each time I think that he's like maybe done with me, whenever he actually reads my messages again and like is there, he's like super responsive and he's like, no, I'm definitely like, you bring joy into my life, like says really good things. But again, I've heard that before, so it's like, I don't mean from him specifically because we only met recently, but I mean like in my life. So it's hard for me to know what to trust right now or who to trust. So I'm still giving things a chance. But yeah, hearing you guys talk about these apps, I'm like, should I? If anyone wants to pull cards on if I should just go ahead and like download the app again and just try like talking to some more new people, or if I should just like not freak out and give this new guy like some more time. Yeah, maybe not about if I should download the app, but about this guy specifically. No, the app. because I already kind of made my mind up. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna be who I am, which is like, I try to be there for people as best I can, as long as I can, while always trying to also do my best to value me and to know when it's time to no longer overextend my energy or anything like that. When it's time to bail, when it's time to like, I can't be treated this way, like it. That's my whole thing, my whole life. So it's like, I feel like generally I know how I'm going to handle the situation with this new connection now. But yeah, if anyone wants to maybe pull a card or something about like the app, I might do that. I haven't done it yet. My friend Steph, she might still be here, but sometimes she'll remind me like, pull a card. I'm like, oh yeah. Who was it? I think it was Steph. I was like, what should I ask? And then she's like, ask this. I'm like, that's so good. And I'll ask it. Yes, poll. Okay. Advice about what to do, or yes or no question to just downloading the app and just trying to connect with people at this time. Just what I thought. The 9 of Wands, like, yeah, no. I don't want to go back to being objectified by a bunch of people. It took all of that and like total luck to meet a genuinely really good guy. So that's the energy about the dating apps, how the vibe is, whether or not to download it. You're here, was doing yoga and listening. Sweet. Yeah, don't worry. Keep it up. I want to do yoga again too. It's been on my mind. I've been doing acupressure. Okay, this is a card about yes, ask. Okay. What is the question? Where are things? So this is, we'll just look at where it's going. This is the energy of where it's going with the dating app. This is where it's going with this new connection that is on my mind. I'm saying his name like internally because like for privacy reasons, like I'm not sure exactly where he's at with, like we've like talked and there's been certain things where they're like, oh, don't save that message, or like keep this like more private, like, so there's like things. So I'm not sure where all of that is, so I'm not going to say his name on the channel unless if in the future you're okay. Like, who in an hour and a half live stream that knows him specifically? Oh, well, that's nice of you to retract the message. But yeah, who in an hour and a half live stream that knows specifically him will like look through the chat, you know? So it's like, I also feel like probably harmless if I do. But anyways, wow, I'm already seeing some cards, but that was the fastest reach. The card is the 3 of Wands about him. That's the path there. The star on the back of the deck, hope. So like I'm getting like wait for him, like give him time, give it time, really. See where things go. So okay, let me start asking about the trajectory of other things too. Let's look at where things are going with my on and off person. And that you guys already know him, so Michael. So where's that? The 5 of Pentacles. Spirit is so accurate. We're literally in separation, and that's what the 5 of Pentacles is. Going through it, through a really rough patch. Tough time. And let's do like more. Where are things at with my financial situation? This move and everything, my finances. 9 of Swords. I have a lot of fear and anxiety about it. These are all true. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've read for myself in a long time. The last time was, I'm a ninja. The last time was when Steph, I saw the Tower card, was when Steph was like, pull a card. And I don't know when the time was before that. So yeah, okay. So continuing the journey of this dating app, we get the World card. So I feel like I'm like on pause with it, but also like, it feels like that cycle is closed. And that means either I'm reopening that cycle later or I'm like leaving it closed because I'm like, no, I learned what I wanted to learn and needed to learn and like don't want to do that anymore or something. Woo, the Three of Swords. Yeah. I feel like that's saying like been there, done that, and I've gotten the experience for it to come full circle to connect with like who I needed to. It's like in anime, you don't need to revisit season 1. You already lived through season 1, you know? So it's like I've already done that and planted the seeds, and I gotta just maybe trust the universe about this manifestation that I literally did work for. So yeah, situation with this new person, this new connection that I've met. I'll say his name in my head to continue. Queen of Cups. Really feeling a really strong bond there. Like while I wait, I'm definitely going to keep waiting and it's going to be sad and I'll be longing. But there's love and companionship and loyalty. Like I like trust that I need to wait and not drop that connection. That's true as well. That does sound like me. You're extremely objective, very good at it, impressive. You're so nice. Thank you. And then Michael, let's see where that's going. The Chariot. It does look like things move forward. I feel like independently, like we're moving on with our lives and we're moving forward. But like he might be like, yes. And he gets in his like chariot. He's like, off I go. And then these sphinxes are like straight up just laying on the ground. So he's like fantasizing that the chariot's moving, but the sphinxes are like, yeah, we don't know what kind of power trip he's on, but we've been chilling for like the last 6.5 decades or eons, you know, these like ancient sphinxes. And he's like, ha 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 ha, ha onward. So that's one energy I see that I totally see. But I also see like that it's also not that it's like if he really wanted to do that, the sphinxes would get up and they would like move forward. So he's like contemplating and I'm contemplating. So it's like we're ready to move forward, but we're also like not quite ready to leave each other behind despite the physical appearance of the Five of Pentacles. Hi, Prudence. Purple. I usually keep pulling cards, then I just go to a reader instead. Cool, you have acceptance of the bad cards, because then you can accept the good too. Let him dream and be happy. Go, go, go. It's moving. So yeah, here we've got finances, got the anxiety, King of Cups, but it seems like I've got the emotional maturity where I'm going to like be on top of it financially. Like I'm a mature, responsible, accountable person. So my heart is like really supporting myself. Like my heart's like, I know it doesn't make sense right now. Like you're trying to logic this out, but every way you look at it, it looks scary, but trust your feelings. Like we're good. I'm always going to love you. Self. The Nine of Cups on the back of the deck. Hi. I'm going to pull one last card for each one of these. So the apps. Seven of Wands. Yeah, like defending myself, standing up and kind of like yeah, I don't know. I just see myself rising above from it. And that if I do it, to be prepared to be even more direct with what I want and more selective about who talks to me and who I talk to. So that's like, it seems like I might do it, but let's see with this new connection that I've got going on. Visualize or saying name, 3 of Cups. It feels like celebration. Like we do get to hang out perhaps, or like celebrate, come together, at least share emotions. So we'll at least talk again, I think. I feel like he's honestly probably going to get back to me relatively soon. I think it's just my circumstances that make when people need more time to respond more dire for me, because it's like it feels oftentimes like it's all I've got going for me. So the situation with Michael, Ace of Wands, to me that's like a fresh start, new beginning. I'm just going to clarify it. King of Wands. It's just like, I feel like we end up doing what's right. Like I maintain my integrity, so I feel like I am going to accept the fresh start in whatever form. But that doesn't mean I'm going to ever just cut him out of my life, even if that's what he can do to me. Even if that's how he reacts to life events and chooses to lash out and hurt people like that, I don't have to do that myself. I can still be there for people and still choose not to abandon my loved ones at any point I decide that I'm ready to have someone back in my life. Like, I actually can make that switch and be adaptable and work through resentment and trauma and misunderstandings, and give people more chances in time, really. And I don't think that's inherently a bad thing. But yeah, I'm just like, yeah, the message I'm getting is like definitely moving on and getting a fresh start of things. And it's something completely new, and that it's a lot more fair to how things should be. Ooh, 10 of Swords. And the Queen of Wands on the back of the deck. And I feel like he matures a little bit over this period of time. Hopefully soon. But yeah, let's do the final card for me on my finances. That journey. The Knight of Wands. Okay, so I'm just kind of like getting like the energy that I got from the Gemini reading that I did earlier, which is like moving forward, but like slowly and like trying not to rush it, taking care of my energy. So like putting the stop on things, putting the brake on at times when I like want to. Yeah, just like the Gemini reading for April 2022 of the Knight of Wands. That message to myself. So yeah. Thank you all for keeping me company. I hope you had some good yoga, Steph. And sorry I haven't gotten back to you yet, Prudence. I know you reached out, I think on Instagram. Yeah. I've been really needing to like really focus on love and focus on myself and just like, yeah, trying to connect with as few people as possible, but also not trying to push anyone out, but just that like I've got a lot to work through. I don't really know how I feel all the time. And there always seems to be something going on. Like a bunch of my loved ones today, I just noticed things, and the specific loved one, they end up getting triggered by me or by something, and I've just ended up feeling really guilty and confused. But yeah. Yes, that sounds so relaxing. I was like, Steph, you should check out this channel, but it's the channel you showed me. She's so relaxing. I'm gonna try doing the Reiki with hypnosis for complete deep relaxation video. Ooh. I might do the one affirmations for self-love and attracting love. Dude, I really vibe with her energy. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. I get the feeling my sibling's been waiting for me, so that's really good. I feel the same way. It's funny, growing up I was labeled as the person who hates exercise, the lazy genius. But I actually love working out. I love runs. I love like certain really like basic workouts like push-ups and pull-ups. I love climbing. I love rock climbing. I love climbing trees. At least growing up I did. They're very, very sappy. So rock climbings, well, they have different textures. So it's, yeah. And I'm getting back to it. I can tell. I've been really wanting to go on runs. The fact that I have the energy for it tells me that like I've been finally getting more, not a complete, but I've been getting more proper nourishment. Yeah, I also love weights. The kind of like cute ones, but also the dumbbell ones where you choose the weights and then you like screw the weights on and then like yeah. I love swinging. I love swimming. I love I like hiking. Hiking is nice. I love running. I love martial arts. Pole dancing, which I haven't done pole dance specific, but definitely a lot of the like foundational stuff. Like I've done a lot just throughout childhood. Sprints. Yeah, I love sprints. I was just thinking this one time I tried recording a story on Instagram of me going on a run and it just looked so bad. It just looked like, what is happening? It looks like I had a limp and everything. But it was because I was sprinting to the beat of the music and the fight scene I was visualizing in my head was way cooler than the recording. It's really embarrassing. I took it down when I watched it myself. I was like, oh no. And I saw the people who saw it and I was like, no. But it's okay. Yeah, you really should. I hope you get one soon. But yeah, I should go. I think my sibling has been waiting for me. So I can tell you're probably laughing about the whole story that I just told, the music and the running. But yeah, I'll try and do another late night chat, hopefully with no interruptions. But I really do want to reconnect with my sibling right now. Bye. Bye, everyone. Okay. I'll talk to you all later. Also, I did the cancer signs reading for April as well, so I should make that video public now. So yeah. Okay.